Hey, I'm Chris Black and a very warm welcome to Friday Fretworks. This week from the absolutely stunning Coco in Camden, here out on tour at the moment with Cardinal Black. I thought I'd talk you through my rig. Yep, it's another rig right now, I know, but I guess first and foremost, the rig has changed fairly significantly since our US tour, just the slightly more pragmatic approach to kind of borrowing or renting or buying and selling gear out in the US, North America. I've obviously got all my own stuff over here, but honestly, it's just such an absolutely gorgeous venue tonight here in Camden that I thought it'd be cool to kind of talk you through it. It's just a beautiful setting for it. So tour's been amazing. Honestly, it's been the kind of I hesitate to say the best tour that we've ever done, but I think it has in all honesty, not just in terms of venue sizes and attendance, but just, you know, as a band, it kind of really seems to have clicked off the back of the US. So particularly exciting. But anyway, down to the nitty gritty. Let's talk you through the stuff. So let's start, give it on the pedalboard. Not much in the way of change, to be honest. It's pretty much as it was for the US stuff. The only notable change, I guess, being the DCX boost, sans a couple of knobs. I honestly don't know where they've gone, but I guess if nothing else, it stops them moving around in transit. Gone through a couple of different boost pedals. We were on the Jackson Audio Bloom last, which is obviously a kind of a hybrid boost and compressor, but we've gone back to the DCX. Prior to that, it was the Grutter Natural Selection, which sounded awesome, but was a little bit gainy. So we're on the DCX at the moment. We've got the AU Gold in place of the typical Golden Fleece. Big shout out to Clint in Phoenix, who very kindly gifted me that. Underneath, we got a couple of things going on, all wedged in so tightly that it can't physically move, which I guess was part of the plan, especially when you're flying with this thing. So that's the underside. We've got a power cable coming out of there then, running over to the RE202 Space Echo. Keeps things nice and clean. That's the only downside, I guess, of having downsized this board, is that just doesn't physically fit on the pedal board anymore. Wah pedal. Slightly notable there in a change back to the slash wah. Had that modded recently by Adrian Thorpe and Dan Coggins. Very kindly took some of the gain out of it because it was a little bit much. It was kind of like a solo boost in itself when you turned it on. So yeah, kind of tamed that a little bit. Anything else worth mentioning here? Probably not. Moving over to the guitars. This was a recent acquisition just prior to the US run. This is a Murphy Lab 64 SG reissue that heartbreakingly, I don't think I've ever really damaged the guitar particularly badly in my life. Save for this one, the day after I bought it. My pelly case rolled out of the van onto my guitar rack and took a big old lump of paint out the side of it there. We've had it sprayed since. Hugh Price patched it up best he could. Still noticeable, I guess, inevitably so, but infinitely less nauseatingly horrible than the bare wood that was exposed when the pelly case fell on it. So it's a cool guitar. Kind of stand by what I said in the US. I'm probably going to change the pickups and pots in this at some point. But otherwise, great guitar and holds tune really well, which is not something you can always say of a Vibrola. Next up, we have Old Faithful, 2020 Custom Shop Yamaha Revstar. Looking older every day, as am I. Genuinely, I think there's a couple of kind of nips and scratches and stuff that's appeared on this guitar over the course of this UK run alone. So yeah, particularly in love with this guitar. Fresh set of strings, new set of tyres for it today, as with all of the guitars for the BLS, the Big London Show. Next up, we have my Parts Caster Jazzmaster, golden aged or golden era body and neck, Homertone, James Homertone electronics, radio shop pickups, bit of a mongrel, beautiful guitar though, just, you know, on a purely aesthetic level. I just fall in love with that guitar more every time I look at it. So yeah, particularly pleased. Last but categorically not least, we have a special guest in the rack tonight, in the shape of none other than the Beast. Of course, owned by the late, great Bernie Marsden. The Marsdens, living with Charlotte and Fran, very kindly offered for me to play this guitar this evening. Got in touch, said, you know, you've got a London show coming up. Do you want to play the Beast? And, you know, my friendship with Bernie aside, it's just such a beautiful guitar, and it's particularly poignant to play Bernie's guitar at such a big show. So thank you very much to the Marsdens. It's obviously it's a 59. Not really much more to say about this guitar that hasn't been written or said already. It's just a stunningly beautiful guitar. And scarcity and value and rarity and everything else aside, just sounds great. Very, very cool guitar. We've got another rev star there at the back. Less said, the better. Moving over to the amps. What's better than 2 amps? 3. What's better than 3? 4. Yeah, it's excessive. Absolutely, it's excessive, but it is a hell of a lot of fun. So I'll forgive myself. And honestly, a huge part of the decision with these amps for this tour is as much the aesthetic as anything else. Obviously, fairly sizable stages we're playing, and we put a lot of thought process into the just the setup on stage and how everything looks, how it's balanced relative to the other side of the stage. Obviously, this is a fairly busy side of the stage with Michael on keys as well, but yeah, everything just kind of felt like it kind of fitted together quite nicely. Worth mentioning, we've got Harley Benton isolation boards underneath just to lift them off the stage and kind of give a degree of separation, so you're not getting those kind of resonant bass frequencies kind of bleeding into everything else. And then in regards to the amps, we of course have my Super Reverb, Old Faithful. I think it's a 65, I want to say maybe, or at least it started life as a 65 anyway, before it was severely modded to look like a brown face. Obviously a slightly fictional amp. The Fender never actually made the brown face era, and the black panel era didn't intersect at any point. So why someone did this, I do not know, but I'm glad they did because it looks cool and it sounds amazing. We've got 3 Celestion G10s in the back and 1 Warehouse Veteran, which the only reason that's in there is I haven't got around to changing it yet. Also worth mentioning, the microphones down here, these are Shure 5, what are they? I should know this, it's written on them somewhere. Basically posh SM57s. They look cool, they sound a little bit more kind of edgy. I don't know, this was Brendan, our front of house's suggestion. He loves them. They're new ones as opposed to old ones, but they just sound great. Obviously 2 mics on the Super Reverb as well at the moment. That started the tour with 1 mic on the Concert down here. It's a 61 Concert. Sorry, we kind of skimmed over that, didn't we? 1 mic on there and 1 mic on the Super Reverb. Brendan prefers the sound of the Super Reverb, and there's enough kind of discrepancy between the 2 speakers in there to give a bit of a kind of mix up front of house. 61 Concert, of course, there. That's, as far as I know, mostly original. But after a couple of conversations with Brendan, our front of house, we are going to change the speakers in there at some point. Decision yet to be made. Moving over to the new 62 Super, courtesy of Fender. Very kindly sent me that at the start of the tour. They brought it along to our Phoenix show for me to try, and I just fell in love with it. It's got an absolutely stunning harmonic tremolo. Just a great reissue, great kind of, not necessarily faithful, but a particularly good sounding recreation of that 62 Super. And then last, but categorically not least, we have the Victory MK Clean. Of course, using the MK Clean 1x12 head and combo, or head and cab, I should say, on the last run. Victory, after I spent a month, better part of, with the combo version in the US and fell in love with it, said, do you want to get a combo version as well? So it's got Alnico Golds, I do believe, in the back. Double check that before I go saying all the wrong thing. Yeah, they are golds. Oh, actually, worth mentioning as well how I'm running all of these amplifiers. That kind of often falls by the wayside. We've got the Lele, I'm not sure how to say it, 1 at 3, which is responsible for running 3 of the amps, and then the Humdinger from the gig rig running kind of, you know, another one, basically. So, yeah, and this Natural Selection sitting back there, should I change my mind on the boost pedal in the chain. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it, to be honest. I mean, I can't stress enough what an absolutely beautiful venue this is. It's just absolutely stunning, and it's our biggest London show to date as well. Of course, we did Shepherd's Bush Empire last time. We sold more tickets for this evening, so it's going to be about 1,500 people in here later. And then we conclude the tour on Saturday with another sold-out show at Great Hall, Cardiff University, for another 1,500 tickets sold. So honestly, this has just been mind-blowing from start to finish. We're heading out to Europe after this. Got a couple of days off, at least the band have. I'm shooting out to Cairo for a couple of days with Yamaha. We get back and then we shoot out to Europe for the better part of a month. We're doing Germany, Austria, Switzerland, France. We're doing our first ever show in Paris, or the kind of first ever headline show in Paris anyway, which is particularly exciting. So yeah, we've got a busy couple of weeks coming up, and yeah, home time for Christmas, hopefully. So that's pretty much all there is to say, to be honest. As ever, I'm Chris Buck. Thank you very much for watching. This is Friday Fretworks. I probably won't see you next week, if I'm honest. It's a busy couple of weeks coming up, but I'll see you as soon as I can. Have a good one. Take care. See you soon.